Ask Reddit by user HotBottomFeeder. Title: People who work for companies with a bad reputation, Nestle, Monsanto, Electronic Arts, etc. How do you feel about it and how has it impacted your life and relationships? Comment by Demon Aardvark: I've contracted at a lot of those companies, and honestly, while the company may be bad, all the people who make up the company are just people. They are there to make money to support themselves and their families. When I found out I was assigned contracting work there, I was a bit apprehensive given their reputations, but they also paid the most money by far and had really good benefits, so my experiences were mostly positive. Reply by Eat the 0%. All too often people confuse labor with the board when it makes rhetorical convenience. I do think there are kind of niche exceptions to this. One specific one I can think of is people that are community managers for maligned video game companies like EA, Ubisoft, etc. If you knowingly and willingly sign up to get paid to be the board's megaphone to the consumers it's exploiting, you're actively pushing that company's shitty agenda and are no different than the board itself. Comment by NotMeFo: a good friend of mine works for Altria, aka Philip Morris, the world's largest cigarette company. I've asked him this question, and this was his answer, paraphrased from memory. Pretty much all big companies are evil in one way or another. This one happens to have better pay and benefits than most. Reply by Zynex, i.e., the reason this is funny to me is that I worked at RJR in the 90s, makers of Camel cigarettes and Kit Kats and whatnot, all during the trial stuff. So I was seeing the shit the trial was talking about while the RJR people were saying that stuff wasn't happening at RJR. The bioengineering, that is, which made cigarettes much more addictive. Spoiler alert, it was, and they were. Now what's funny is seeing Google getting nailed for being evil all of the sudden. Just because what the product is doesn't smell and doesn't cause cancer doesn't mean the owner of that product is any less of a vampire capitalist. Some just play the PR game better. Comment by SpaceDave83: I worked in IT at the Corp. HQ of a large MLM company. Pay and benefits were very good. The corporate culture was very family focused and most employees were the type that you would describe as great neighbors. Since they are one of the largest employers in the area, there was no stigma with the local people at all. Working there had one advantage. When people from out of town asked me where I worked, and I told them, there was rarely any tedious discussion about what I did I like it? Everyone was afraid I'd try to recruit them. Comment by Yvrail Kriankampt: I work as a contractor for a big pharmaceutical company. I can't say I approve of everything the company has ever done. However, I'm currently working on clinical trials about rare pediatric diseases, so at least my job does a bit of good. I know they get a lot of money for it, but still. Edit: I'm not in the US and it's not an American company. Comment by Wildling: I work in marketing at a Christian radio station. Priests, church, prayers, the whole thing. I'm an agnostic atheist and have some issues with a lot of religious things, so I am somewhat in conflict myself. I also do get the occasional flack for it, but I don't plan on leaving anytime soon. The work is interesting, they respect me not being Christian, and it is hands down the healthiest work environment with the friendliest coworkers I ever had. Comment by Reddit is too liberal, hate the company, enjoy my coworkers. Comment by Glencoco701: EA is one of the biggest hiring companies for starting out game developers in my area and even the world. They don't have a terrific reputation even from the people who work there, but roping them in with a company that literally kills babies is a bit far. They're the one of the only game companies that hire people with no official experience and they release AAA games that a lot other game companies want to see on AR some. I don't work there yet, but I plan on applying there when I'm done school, and I know a lot of people with the same plan. They are far from perfect. For example, they mostly hire people on 6 or 12-month contracts who then can't work at EA for 3 months after said contracts end. That is kinda shitty, but the silver lining is then that opens the door for different people to get hired to beef up their R&S. You can also use that time to apply street other studios. A lot of my instructors and friends I know have or do work there, and literally no one I know thinks less of them. TLDR, EA bad sad face, but seriously, they aren't as shit as Reddit likes to believe. Reply by Workic 1999: It always baffles me when EA is compared to companies like Nestle. Nestle literally killed babies and claims that you have no right to drinking water. EA makes some shitty video games.